Welcome everyone to 7.4, Sum to Product and Product to Sum Identities. As the name says, if you want to go from sum to product or from product to sum, we have specific identities. What do I mean by that? For sum to product, let's say, I'll just say sum to product. Let's say you had sine alpha plus sine beta. Okay, just before I give you the identity, I want to make it very, very clear that the sum identity, just the sum identity, was for sine alpha plus beta. This one is sine alpha plus sine beta. They are separate. Okay, sine and so when you have them separately like this identity helps you to write it as a product. Sine of alpha plus beta over 2 cosine alpha minus beta over 2. So from sum of two separate sine, you get the product. You get this result, which is all a product. Okay. Then we have sine alpha minus sine beta to be 2 sine alpha plus minus beta. Cosine alpha plus beta over 2. If it's cosine alpha minus cosine beta, it is negative 2 sine alpha plus beta over 2. Sine alpha minus beta over 2. And then cosine alpha plus cosine beta would be 2 cosine alpha plus beta over 2 cosine alpha minus beta over 2. We don't expect you to memorize these things, but the more you look at them, the more you begin to see their pattern. Okay. And we don't have any for tan, but remember you can build one for tan if need be, right? But usually we can use verifying. We can use other identities to simplify it first, and then switch it to the sine or the cosine situation. Okay. So here's a problem. If you're asked to find sine x minus sine 4x. Now these are two separate sines, so it's a difference of two sines. Okay, and the formula says this is the formula here, right? The second one. So I'm going to call this as my alpha. 4x itself will be my beta. So that will be the second formula. So that's 2 times sine alpha minus beta. So x minus 4x over 2 cosine alpha plus beta. X plus 4x over 2. 2 sine of x minus 4x is negative 3x over 2. And cosine x plus 4x will be 5x over 2. You know, sine is an odd function. So if it's an odd function, the minus is not absorbed. The minus is brought in the front. And therefore, this becomes negative 2 sine 3x over 2 cosine 5x over 2. Thus, you have simplified by converting the sum to a product. And say you had cosine 2x minus cosine 4x. Yeah. So for this, cosine minus cosine would be the third formula. Yeah. And as again, this will be your alpha and this will be your beta. Minus 2. The formula, this is the one that has a minus in it, right? So minus 2 sine alpha plus beta over 2. So 2x plus 4x over 2 sine alpha minus beta over 2. Negative 2 sine 6x over 2 sine negative 2x over 2. Remember, the 6x over 2 is happening inside the angle, so you're okay to simplify it there because that's within the angle here too. Therefore, this comes out as negative 2 sine 3x sine negative x. Now it's time to handle the negative angle. We never give the answer as a negative angle. This being sine being odd, you know that that negative will come out, and in fact it will combine with the negative that's already in the formula, making it positive. So it simply be 2 sine 3x sine x. Now if it is the other way around, you are given the product and you want to write it as a sum, then so this was sum to product, right? So we'll now write for product to sum. Cosine alpha, cosine beta. It's now given as a product, right? So to write it separately as a sum, it will be half of cosine alpha minus beta plus cosine alpha plus beta. It's just rearranging the terms so from the one from the other, right? From the sum to product, if you rearrange it, you get product to sum. So it is really not so bad that we have that many formulas because they're all generated one from the other. Okay, so now we have this combination where it's sine alpha cosine beta. That will be half sine alpha plus beta plus sine alpha minus beta. If it's sine alpha sine beta, half of cosine alpha minus beta minus cosine alpha plus beta. And then if the order was cosine alpha and sine beta, minus sine alpha minus beta. Okay. So let's take the first example. Now they give us 2 cosine 2x minus 3 cosine 4x over 3. So this is given to us as a product. They want us to write this as a sum. Okay. Now you have this as your cosine alpha and beta. And you have a 2 in front of it, so that's okay. Hold on to the 2 and just use the formula for just the cosine alpha cosine beta. And for that we have 2 times, the formula has a half, right? In fact, which one are we using? We're using the first one, okay? Cosine cosine. So half times cosine alpha minus beta. And that's happening in the angle itself. So 2x minus 3 minus 4x over 3, not minus 3, plus cosine 2x over 3 plus 4x over 3. Now the halves, the 2 and the half can cancel off. That gives us cosine, that will be negative 2x. They have the same denominator, so subtract the numerators, plus cosine 6x over 3. If you can simplify within the angle, go ahead and do that, and that's possible here because there's a 2x. And here, cosine of a negative angle, this is an even function, therefore the minus is absorbed, so you do not have the minus coming out of cosine, so you just have cosine 2x over 3 plus cosine 2x. So you wrote the product as a sum. Okay, we'll look at another example. cosine 3x sine 6x. Okay. Clearly, this will be your alpha and this will be your beta. So cosine alpha sine beta, let's go to that. Cosine alpha sine beta is the last one, the last rule. And so we write that as half times sine alpha plus beta minus sine alpha minus beta. So sine 9x minus sine of negative 3x. Once again, the oddness of sine brings the minus out, and that minus will combine with this minus out here, and that will be half of sine 9x plus sine 3x. That's it. Again, don't go further and combine them anymore, because you know they're all fixed angles, so you cannot really combine them after that. And that is it. So that was this section. It's a very short one. So I hope you really, truly enjoyed this literally, 10-11 minute video. Okay. See you in the next one.